Hey, everybody! Welcome back to Pete and Jeremy's DnDTime. This is game 2 this evening, an adventure I have entitled Salad Bar. Salad Bar. There we go. Salad Bar. We have 4 fantastic adventurers today, as always. So let's just take a hot minute and introduce everybody. First and foremost, we have probably the most senior, maybe not the most senior. I think like you might fight with Carly's other character for that role. But we have Oldman McWizardface, the Monstrologist McResearcherface. How are you, Oldman?
Hello, Jeremy.
How goes the spring cleaning? I heard, is it still going?
Oh, yes, of course. We kind of had a minor setback.
What's that?
Well, you know, the solstice and everything. Well, Mira ended up bringing in more stuff.
Oh no, what did she get?
Oh, knickknacks and such. You know, she has plenty of friends who love giving her solstice presents, and, well, it just adds to the clutter.
See, that's the one bright side of having a bad boss like Bartholomew. He never gives you anything. He only takes.
Don't worry, we'll probably finish another 2 months or so. Like I said at the start of all this, we'll finish spring cleaning by the spring.
Have you gotten Rip the, I know he's not Rip the Rude anymore, right?
Correct, now he's more Rip the Rough.
He's still rough though, Alright, have you gotten him to help out at all, or...?
Oh, yes, of course, we're putting everyone to work. Familiar, Rip the Tiger.
Well, I imagine Familiar is actually kind of helpful, right? Just kind of by default?
Oh, yes, he often complains, though, about some boyfriend wanting to go home. I don't understand, because he's a familiar.
Yeah, I mean, he just must not understand. Familiars don't probably have a full understanding of the world, so they're just confused.
Exactly, but yes, he has been helpful.
Well, you know what, Oldman? I'm glad your spring cleaning is going well. What are you going to do when you finally finish your spring cleaning?
I'm going to live in a clean house.
And how long is that going to last?
Let's not talk about that.
We're not gonna talk. All right, well, you know what? I wish you the very best with your spring cleaning. And, of course, welcome back to DnDTime.
Indeed, it's been quite a while.
Actually, this is going to be a great adventure for you to do some McResearcherface. But we're going to get to that in a minute. Our next hero tonight is a good friend of Oldman's, actually. Othgarurt Charirgix, the Bone Knapper. Othgarurt, how are you?
I am very happy spring cleaning take long time.
You've been helping.
Yes. Also sleeping in warm cluttered house. Clutter good for staying warm.
Oh, I see. You're happy because you get to stay somewhere nice and warm.
Yes.
You know, Othgarurt, one of the few perks of being one of Bartholomew's adventurers is you get free stay at the tavern down the road, the Last Hope Tavern. Have you ever been there?
I have. I have spent many nights there before I have started helping with the spring cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels much nicer to be with familiar company.
Of course, I mean, familiar makes great company. Or you mean Oldman and everyone. Yeah, of course.
Did I make the joke good?
You made the joke. I ruined the joke. You made the joke.
You're not supposed to explain it.
So, Othgarurt, have you been doing any new bone? I know it's like almost an art as much as a skill for making useful items. Have you found any good bones to nap while searching through the clutter that's Mira Krantz's house?
I have been trying my best not to use their own items for my craft. I prefer to claim bones fresh from the hunt, and it is difficult to go on the hunt in these winter times.
We let him take the living things in some of the portals.
Well, Othgarurt, I'm glad that you've had a productive winter break, and I hope you have a productive adventure tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Very glad to be working again.
Always good to. Our third hero tonight, Runefang, champion of Bahamut and the Cloud. Runefang, how you doing?
It's good to be back. My family's growing way too quick.
Oh no! I was gonna ask how school was going, but the family stuff's a bit much right now.
I'm glad there is no drinking age.
Oh gee, Runefang, you seem like there's some deep-seated problems that have been developing, or like pent-up feelings. Do you want to talk? What's bothering you, bud?
I already have over 300 nieces and nephews.
That's a lot, considering you had like 100 brothers and sisters last time we talked.
It's now closer to 300.
So those are just gonna Oh no! How is this sudden explosion happening?
I don't want to think about it.
that is a very good. I can see now why maybe you have a drink every now and then, Runefang.
It is also part of the reason why I stay at the tavern in Bartholomew's shop.
I mean, that's fair. It's very fair.
Despite the fact that I'm technically not supposed to be anywhere near my hometown due to problems with the temple.
Oh yeah. Well, Runefang, I'm glad that you found something good to distract yourself here from the turmoil of having such a huge family. That's gotta be stressful. Even just like making dinner has to be an ordeal, something like that.
Normally winter is a week. For my family, it's like 6.
Well,
due to all of our relatives.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Well, Runefang, welcome back. I hope this adventure serves as a nice little break from your apparently now extreme duties to your family.
Yeah, I hope everything goes well. Unlike what happened with the nightmare court.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be. And our last hero this evening, Holly Tildrum, the Kleptomaniac. Holly, how are you doing? It's been a long time.
I've been fine, maybe.
No.
Ugh.
Ugh. Has the kleptomania not really been working out?
I went to jail maybe once or twice.
Oh no!
I went on somewhat. Oh, you got a question for me? I would be glad to take it.
You steal the key?
Usually,
cool.
It's an easy one.
It works out.
Sometimes I might charm someone, call them ravishing, give them a couple winks,
Of course. Anything else you've been up to?
Somewhat of an expedition. You know about the cat romancers, right?
The cat romancers. I'm not familiar.
Yeah, no one really knows about them, but there are artifacts around, and I've been tasked to look for them, so that's what I'm doing.
I know there are a bunch of them in the bag. I mean, I shouldn't know this, being an outside observer, but when Bartholomew and Roger were going through them over the break, going through everything in the bag, pretty much emptying that bag out filled most of the shop. But there were a bunch of. I think they sound just like what you're describing. Little like cats in bottles and things.
Yeah. I've been in there. I'm surprised I didn't find any.
Well, maybe they're just well hidden, or new additions. Who knows? Well, Holly, welcome back. I hope you find some good stuff in this adventure. I hope you don't go to jail.
I won't. I'll wink and I'll ravish.
A wink and a nudge and a quick smile, and that's all you need sometimes. Or sometimes they
big furbolg smile, sharp teeth.
Oh, you're a sharp teeth furbolg. That's scary. You're just got like 10% scarier, I think, if you have sharp teeth.
I'll keep my lips over my teeth then.
Alrighty. So our adventure begins today. You all, adventurers in Bartholomew's Adventuring Company of the second tier of the Fabled tier, you have been hired by a certain Chefromancer. a powerful magician, a wizard of sorts, who really focuses and studies in the arts of magical food and the animation of such things. You've traveled deep to the Baradac Swamp, a kind of murky, swampy area within the lands of DnDTime. But you were kind of informed that might not be staying there for a particularly long time. And so the adventure begins. You are trudging through the murky swamps. You've been traveling for a few hours, I think, at this point. And as it's...
Ooh, just like old times, right, Othgarurt?
Very nice to stretch legs.
Up ahead, you can see what looks like a crumbling tower pouring out of the otherwise barren swampland. A few dead trees, but this tower stretches 40, 50 feet into the air, somewhat lopsided, almost sinking into the swamp itself. For those of you, who of you have met Clinton Slaughtermurder in the past? Anyone? Well,
we
maybe
gave him butter once.
Ah, yes. So, maybe visiting the tower is a fairly new experience for most of you.
I think I've been here once before.
Mayhaps. As you approach, though, the impending image of the tower is kind of disrupted, almost. As you get to a more solid part of the ground, you're walking forward. You see the door, an old wooden door with what looks like a mummified mind flayer's head stuck on the front like a knocker. It opens with a loud creak, and you see a man walk out. He's got kind of chestnut brown hair, a bit of a goatee that comes, not really a super clean goatee, but he wears it nonetheless. His hair is somewhat wavy, about halfway down to his shoulders, not particularly long, and he wears a dark black cloak covered with kind of gold spiderweb-like pattern. Under one hand, he has a book, and on the other hand, he has a small brown sack, which clashes dramatically with everything. And he looks over at you all and greets you. Oh, hey! Hey, I'm glad you... Come over, everyone. Please.
Oh, hello! Are you Flint Butcher Murder?
Clinton Slaughtermurder, actually.
Close enough. Hello.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
The first time I met you, I helped kick your ass.
Yes, I'm where I appreciate that. You know, every once in a while, something gets into your mind. Can't help it when you get food poisoning eating the wrong things. But yes, it's a pleasure to actually meet you. Runefang, I believe. Part of your work.
Yes, it is.
Quite the fall you survived there against the bird. And
that fucking hurt.
I bet it did. You know, they needed me to help put you together at the end. Othgarurt, it's a pleasure. He kind of goes to shake your hand.
Not move.
Huh?
I see you did not move from this place. Still surrounded by very dangerous neighbors.
Yeah, the giants moved out. They were in the back, a couple miles. But yeah, it's my little piece of I wouldn't say paradise. My little piece of swamp. Anyway, I desperately need your help. There should have been 4 of you, right? Holly, Tildrum?
You may want to check inside your house.
He kind of goes look through the door. Holly, what are you doing at this moment? Inside, his main entry room is filled with all sorts of horrible, baneful knickknacks and evil, profane holy symbols and things.
Holly's gonna have like a bunch of the stuff already in his hands, and then he's gonna once he notices he's been seen, he's gonna drop them all on the floor and say, Holly Tildrum, explorer extraordinaire.
He looks at you. Fine. And you see the little artifacts that you've dropped actually begin to move and skitter as if they're actually animated themselves. Something you didn't realize as you were picking them up. He walks over. It's fine. It's good to have you. It's good to have someone who thinks on their feet and is a little discreet when you need to be. Please, come outside. You really don't want to be in here. Don't sit on the couch. It bites. Having a bad week. And so you follow him back outside where everyone else is. And Oldman, right?
Oh, of course. Hello. You're tall.
Your expertise, actually, I specifically requested you. You're familiar at all with Slaadi?
You mean the Slaad?
Yes, the Slaad.
Yes, I've done research. I've yet to be able to draw one, though.
Well, there should be plenty of time. We're all headed, and he kind of like hefts the little burlap sack, and you hear it jingle with something, maybe utensils. We're heading to the plain of Limbo. I'm not sure if any of you have ever been there. It's not really totally solid or whole. Lots of floating asteroids through the ether. This time of year is a very important time there because it's the Slaad spawning time. There's a large black obelisk, and they kind of just climb out of it. It's very bizarre. But they're all very hungry.
We get to see tadpoles. Oh my god, guys. Guys.
It should be very good, yes. I'm hoping that we can capitalize on that. A little pop-up restaurant I've had planned for a long time. It's the Salad Bar. Get it, 'cause slads. Anyway, so if you wouldn't mind, and he goes and closes his front door, and then kind of pets the mind flayer head that's the knocker on the side and whispers something to it, and you see its tentacles kind of like writhe a little, even though it's very clearly dead. And then its eyes flash kind of ethereal blue and continue to glow that color. And he goes, alrighty! And he opens the door and pushes it open, and it's not the inside of his tower that you see behind it, but it's a really bizarre landscape of just kind of crackling energy. There is, apparently it's on some large floating piece of rock going through the ether. You see huge other pieces of rock floating in the background. The ground itself is kind of bubbling like it's mud almost, even though it looks like stone. And yeah, he says, all right, let's go. We only have a few minutes to set up before the lunch rush is going to start. And he steps
Okay, I've seen some weird shit working for Bartholomew, but this takes the cake.
Well, it's about to get a whole lot weirder, please.
I'm so excited.
I might have drubbed this up in a drunken stupor.
You just take out a little flask and...
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Cool. So you all kind of head through the little portal with him, and as you pass through it, you just see the open doorway behind you, and he closes the door and takes out a little key and locks it. The doorway stays there. This platform you're on right now is maybe 100 feet wide. You're somewhere kind of near one of the edges of it, maybe about 15 feet away. Smack dab in the center is a very bizarre looking obelisk. An obelisk of pure black stone just jutting up at an angle from the center. It stands maybe 50 feet high, a fairly large structure. And as you look at it, it almost seems to scintillate and shine. And you realize it's made out of millions and millions of infinitely complex little polygons, not simply 4 discrete sides, as kind of first glance would imply. And he says, all right, let's start setting up. He opens up his sack and he starts to pull out a bench, and it just keeps on coming out. He's like, all right, everybody help me out. We got to get everything out of here and set up quick. Do you all help him?
No.
Well, as much as a 3-foot-tall rabbit can help.
Yeah, I mean, you look in the sack, and as you look in, Runefang, there's like a faint, super faint pop, and you see inside there's a pot, just a big like cauldron-like pot, which you're able to just lift out. And he finishes taking out this long bench. It's almost like 50 feet long, just wood. You see him lift it out and then like fly a little ways and put it down on the ground. And he turns to it and says, yes, in Limbo, you can do some weird things. If you can think it, you can probably do it. Just try to fly for a minute, anyone.
Give me a second. And Oldman thinks, and he creates a nice easel to put his sketchbook on and prepare for this wonderful experience.
There's a popping sound and an easel appears in front of you, Oldman.
Oh, this is so perfect.
Holly looks inside his flask and it's empty, and then he closes his eyes and he thinks really hard, and then it's full again.
Yeah, it is, and then you take a swig and it's disgusting.
I spit it all over the ground.
Clinton goes, "Oh, no, don't. You can't do that with food here. It doesn't work with food."
It's just
or
like
drink.
being in Bartholomew's head again.
Yeah, I would also recommend Oldman not creating paints. Far too unstable. Or paper for that matter.
Should I avoid drinking about dragon bones?
Why is that? Dragon bones are fine. I mean, it may not have the exact essence of dragon bone is the problem. They just kind of look like it. For example, and he kind of hefts this incredibly long bench with ease. This is actually it's wood, and he kind of knocks on it, and it doesn't make a sound. It's not really wood. It's bizarre, and he placed it back on the ground. Anyway, let's get the table out, and he takes the table out, a huge table out of the bag, and he starts setting up this little stand. And there's a little area on the back with the cauldron, and in a short matter of time, you have a pretty much quick little restaurant set up. Except for you, Holly, you're just kind of hanging out watching, I guess.
Dancing, of course.
Oh, dancing! Excellent. You're dance flying through the ether.
Yeah.
Excellent. And as this is all happening, you can see the obelisk kind of begin to almost bubble near the top, but even the bubbles aren't circular. They appear to be fractalized polygon bubbles and pop and then fall back down and are absorbed back in. Oh, that means we're getting close. It's only a few minutes before the first rush arrives.
Positions!
Yes, so basically, we gotta get the last bits out. Hefts out of his bag a door. Just like a full big wooden door. Alright, this one's actually heavy. And he places it down. Could someone get one of the pythons out of there and nail this sucker down?
I can do that.
Excellent, thanks. So you gonna hammer it in, and over the course of the next few minutes, all of them get hammered in. There are 3 doors. And he says, all right, so these doors, they're kind of a trade trick of mine. Basically, I just kind of use them to get to some quick stashes I have throughout the plains. If you open a door, and he opens the first door, and you see just a lush jungle behind it, or not really jungle, but almost like a garden, but a very overgrown one. That's where I keep the greens, and he closes it. You open the second door, and you just see a wall, like a solid flat wall of water. It doesn't splash out. He says, that's where I keep the seafood, and he closes that door. He goes to the third door, and behind that door is just a 10 by 10 dusty-looking dark closet with shelves filled with bowls. That's where I keep utensils and the serving bowls.
It looks like you kind of need to clean that one.
I'm not too worried about it. The Slaad are not particularly picky when it comes to the cleanliness. However, they do like good food. As do all creatures. Anyway, I'm going to be real with you all. I'm a little tense. If we get 2 bad reviews, they could just attack. Slaadi are very opinionated, so we're going to have to play this one careful.
Maybe you should come work for my family. Don't eat anything.
We'll talk about that another time. But for now, does anyone have any skills selling food? I can make it really well. I'm not the best salesman.
I'm cute and fluffy.
I am not particularly good in this kind of situation.
Uh-huh.
How do I sales?
All right, I'll handle that. Okay, so basically, it's a made-to-order kind of restaurant. That's our concept. What's going to happen is they're going to start coming out, and you can see the bubbles beginning to like blah, 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 a lot bigger and more rapidly. Almost like the peak of this obelisk is boiling with fractalized bubbles. All right, so they're going to start coming any minute now. we're going to try and get them to form an orderly line. Very, very hard with Slaadi. And I'll handle that. I'm going to call out what we need, and you all are going to have to go in, find it, and get it. Sound good?
I might have a way to get them to make a straight line. He thinks about the lines that you see at banks.
Uh-huh.
With the pylons and the velvet rope.
So some little pylons just pop, 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 with the little velvet kind of things connecting them. Excellent. They just pop into resistance, and he says, that might help, but I warn you, Slaadi are creatures of literal chaos. They're actually created from chaos. So this is gonna be a little bit of a challenge for me. Just make.
Ollie's gonna walk over, and he's gonna push one over.
It falls over. Precisely.
All right.
Precisely.
It's chaotic.
I see what you're. I see. I get what you're seeing there. Okay.
As long as it gets them in a somewhat straight line.
Well, one can hope. Anyway, and at this point, you see one of the bubbles grow to an incredibly large size, and when it pops, it doesn't just sink back into the obelisk. It actually pops, and inside you see what looks like a red arm. It's kind of warty and very gaunt, reaching out of just the flat face of the obelisk. And you see it push itself against the bottom and begin to, like, pull a body behind it, just emerging from the peak of this structure. You see, eventually, the whole creature exhumes itself from the top. A large red frog-like creature with almost a demonic visage to it. A very wide, large mouth with very sharp teeth. Huge claws at the end of its very long and lanky arms. And it flops down and splashes kind of into the mud around the obelisk. And immediately after that, there's almost like a rift in the top of the obelisk. And you see all sorts of little tiny wriggling tadpole-like things begin to fly, shoot out kind of and spill out around it.
Oldman immediately begins drawing.
Excellent.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Anyone else?
Holly's gonna wave at them. Hi! Welcome!
Runefang is just gonna go stand over by the door to the greens.
Okay. And Othgarurt?
Stay by the door to the seafood.
Oh, don't worry, I can get the seafood. I can breathe underwater.
Oh shit! Right.
I can swim though.
You see somewhere in the background, like way in the distance, you think you see Bill the space whale flying just around in Limbo, but then he disappears out of sight. Anyway, so Holly, you call over, and what he's like, hi. Or
then Holly's gonna raise his hand and cast Prestidigitation to make little sparkles, and he's gonna wink at the Slaadi.
All right, the red creature pulls itself up and snarls and kind of snorts, its eyes blinking extremely quickly as it looks all around itself. It like looks past you, it's looking back and forth so quickly, not noticing you until you call out, and then and it begins to kind of lumber forward. It seems to be having a hard time walking, but it's like almost dragging itself with its arms. Eventually it gets up to its feet as it kind of approaches the front. And you can see more of these little tadpoles. They're only about 7-8 inches long, you think, at this distance, pouring out, almost making a sea of flipping, wriggling, they almost look like fish at the bottom of the obelisk in the distance. But yeah, this red creature, this red Slaad, is the first one to arrive, and it gets up and looks at Clinton Slaughtermurder. Clinton's like, hey, welcome to the Solid Bar. I'm Clinton Slaughtermurder, famed Chefromancer. What can I get for you? You look hungry. And the Slaad just kind of looks at him, somewhat slack-jawed. Salad. He wants a salad. Excellent. All right, that'll be 6 pints of your blood, please. And Clinton takes just a big syringe, jams it into the shoulder of the creature, and it's just kind of shocked and surprised. He goes, "Ugh," and Clinton looks back to you all. Salad, get the salad. Just a regular salad. Come on. And he's just.
Runefang will go into the door for all the ingredients to make the salad.
Okay. Well, at this point, I want everyone to roll for initiative, so we can track the turn order here. All right, Runefang.
Oh dear.
Oh boy. Othgarurt. Holly and Oldman. This is fine because Oldman, are you just trying really hard to make one amazing sketch, or are you just as much as you can?
No, I'm trying to.
What was that? Oh. Oldman, I think you cut out. Let me know what you want to be doing. But anyway, we're going to start with
Just
Runefang.
one amazing sketch.
Excellent. Awesome. So let's start.
Especially of this red one right here. I sit there saying, smile, just be patient, and I will get you a wonderful picture.
It's kind of dazed and slack-jawed and confused, but you know what? I think maybe looks like a smile for a slot. We start with Runefang. What do you want to do, Runefang?
Well, Runefang needs lettuce, carrots, celery for the salad.
Uh-huh.
So he will go and find them in the overgrown garden and doing a bit of weeding while he's at it.
Okay. So you crack open the door, you go in, so it takes actually an action to open the door. It's pretty heavy, but yeah, you crack it open and you walk in. You can see this garden is huge. It seems you don't see any walls, except for a broken down stone wall that you just walked through the doorway in. You look behind that wall and there's just more greenery. It just goes on forever, it seems. The walkways are made of a cobbled stone and are heavily overgrown with just kind of vines and greenery. You don't see any of those things you mentioned at a glance.
Well,
You want to just move in deeper and start looking around?
time to dive in, and he will go in deeper.
Okay, are you keeping to the path for now?
For now.
Okay.
If he has to traverse into any of the planters, he will.
Okay. The planters are about 15 feet on each side, for perspective. So they're very large, but they're low. All right, our next Othgarurt, what would you like to do? Currently, you're standing next to the fish door, but this Slaadi didn't order fish. Would you like to do anything? The door next to you is wide open.
I can remember that there are underwater plants, yes?
Yeah, there's seaweed. Now the question is, do you know not to put seaweed? Actually, I guess you could put seaweed in a salad. Generally speaking, you like to dry it first, I think, though.
It is time to go diving.
Okay, you just open the door and go in.
Yes.
Excellent. So you crack open the door, and again, you see, and it looks fairly similar to what I just described, even though you haven't seen the inside of the garden. There's a broken down wall, a stone wall on the seafloor with this door open, but there are no walls. It just kind of goes ad infinitum. You see maybe 50, 60 feet away, maybe there's like a kelp forest coming up from the ground. So that's currently what do you want to just start swimming toward it?
Yes, I shall swim halfway towards it.
Okay. Now, being you are a lizard folk, correct? I'm not imagining that. Yeah, you have a swim speed, right?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. So you get 30 feet, so it's halfway there. Excellent. Holly, what would you like to do?
Holly's gonna keep he's gonna keep grandstanding and like
You're just gonna try and attract attention?
yeah, and like using prestidigitation to make way too many sparkles just everywhere.
Yeah, can you roll me, I guess, a spellcasting check, whatever your spellcasting modifier is? I think it's intelligence, right?
Oh yeah, do you want me to do intelligence? I can do intelligence.
Yeah. Or you could roll Arcana if you wanted. That would be fine too.
Oh dear.
So I'm going to 8. You're using a cantrip, so I'm not going to give you any extra bonus. So you're just casting sparks, and the Slaad, you haven't really distracted him enough to buy anyone more time right now. But the way I'm going to treat this is if you roll above a certain DC, the DC will be based on the type of Slaad. This is the easiest, so it's like a DC 12. If you roll above that, you'll buy everyone else an extra round before the Slaad starts to get mad.
Can I make that an 18?
You want to make that an 18?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, all right. So, I mean, that's good. First round gives you the most time to figure everything out. The Slaad is like, he's getting his arm syringed, and he's confused and like, "Argh!" And he was just born. And then, pretty, looks at the sparks that you're... Are you having sparks make any specific shapes? Or just kind of everything?
Stars.
Awesome. Oldman, what would you like to do? Are you just going to continue drawing?
I need to finish this drawing, of course.
So the way I'm going to do this is you can roll a performance check.
I have my sketchbook.
Yeah, exactly. And what I'm going to do is for... Oh, shit. I was going to say for every turn you roll, I mean, you can only get higher, and I was going to give you like a +5 for each turn. But you made a really good sketch already. That, like, your first round, you're just finishing up and, like, it's pretty damn good.
Wonderful. And I'm trying to get the other tadpoles, like, into a family portrait.
Yeah.
We're all just bored. Let's get a nice family portrait here.
You move your easel so that you can see it. Excellent. All right, cool. So you start adding in the tadpoles. Awesome. We are now onto Runefang. Again, Runefang, you're 30 feet into the garden. You're looking around, and what's your passive perception?
That would be 11.
Yeah, you don't see anything immediately. You could take an action to perceive, which would be looking around, if you want.
Let's see what I can see.
Oh, damn! Yeah, I mean, you've got, and I think you'd have an advantage on this either way because of your bunny folk kind of heritage. But yeah, you're like, you get like a good smell, and you can smell, there's like a crispness to fresh herbs. And as you look over, you can see, not too far away, in one of the planters, a whole bunch of fresh herbs. It's just cabbages and carrots and lettuces and all sorts of things growing up around. And it looks like all of the other vines and greenery have kind of left it be.
Well, taking out his short sword, he will go harvest some.
Cool. So you walk 30 feet over to it. And yeah, you want to take a short sword? You already used your action to perceive, so next turn you can use an action to harvest. But you have found it, you're there. And you have not perceived any immediate threats in getting it. Othgarurt, you are in the underwater, which is a little less tranquil. It's bubbly. You see schools of fish swimming around. But beyond that, you see there are crabs all over the ground. What do you want to do? You want to swim to the vines?
Yes. I shall get good kelp for salad.
Yep, 30 feet. You're at the vines. You want to start cutting at them?
Yes, I should be hasty about this.
Okay. So what I'm going to treat this, it's actually going to be a survival or nature check. I'll let you pick, and that will determine how much you get. 14. Alrighty. With a 14, yeah, I think that's probably good enough. Can you roll me a d8 and then add your wisdom modifier to it? Oh, damn. All right, perfect. So you're cutting, and you're pretty good at this. It seems that the kind of almost serrated aspect of your knap bone blade, or axe rather, is incredibly good at cutting through these. Better than maybe a regular blade might be. Just because this kind of serrated, uneven nature to it. And yeah, you managed to cut up 10 pounds worth of seaweed and stuff.
Excellent.
So you got a whole pile, a whole bushel in your arms, and yeah, that's what you see. What's your passive perception? 12?
14.
14. There's a dark shape, kind of moving maybe 15 feet away in the vine. Fairly large. Very hard to see because it's kind of dark here. Alrighty.
That's not good.
Holly, it's your turn again. What would you like to do? Is you're still standing out in the open.
I'm gonna make finger guns, and
You've taken it upon yourself to distract the slot.
yeah.
Or okay.
And I'm gonna wink at the slot, and I'm gonna put my little finger, my thumb down, and wink, and a little heart will come out.
Okay. Are you casting a spell on it, or?
Nope. just
you're just-
making little spark hearts.
Excellent. You can roll me another either Arcana or Intelligence check, whichever you prefer, and we'll see how. Oh no, that's only an 11. So
Oh, well.
the slide just kind of seems confused. He's still distracted because of the syringe and everything, but you see coming behind him, now crawling out of the obelisk, is a dark blue colored slide. Again, covered in like warts and things, long, lanky arms and claws, but its color is blue. And it is beginning to emerge from the obelisk behind the torrent of Tad.
It gets a nice welcome.
Excellent. Oldman?
How organized are these Slaad being right now?
Right now, they're not at all. There's a big puddle of tadpoles just reveling all over the place by the obelisk. But there are only two, like, large slot. And you see Clinton, like, looks a little nervous, like maybe he was expecting more.
So, the tadpole don't need to be organized.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
You get the
then.
idea that he probably wasn't planning on feeding the tadpoles.
Well then, I guess I'll start getting my drawing done on the blue slot. Can't let this opportunity go to waste.
Okay, go ahead.
This is very important. Research!
Alright, this one's not going as well. You think you need to maybe spend some more time.
Of course, yes.
So
yes.
because you're spending more than one turn, if you spend more than one turn at least, because you have a sketch right now, right? It's not a masterpiece, but it's pretty good. You're an artist after all, or I'm sorry, a monstrologist. You're a professional, but you get a +5 next turn if you choose to continue doing it. Is there anything else you want to do? It's like a bonus action or something?
I don't think I have a bonus action, so not really.
Okay, sure. All right, we move back to Runefang. Runefang, you're sitting in this beautiful garden. There's produce all around you. You wanna harvest some of that?
Yes, I do.
Alrighty, go ahead and give me either a nature or a survival check as you start chopping. Oh man, yeah, you did really well. Can you roll me 2d8s plus your wisdom modifier? Unfortunately, the problem here is some of this, it looks like it maybe isn't fully grown. And yeah, as you're kind of chopping away and getting it, you've collected 4 pounds of fresh produce, which is pretty good. And as you're looking forward, you can see that some of the vines in the adjacent planters are like wriggling and moving a little bit. They're like almost slithering toward you slowly. What would you like to do now? You have your produce.
GTFO.
With a bunny folk bolt of speed, you are now 30 feet toward the door. Okay, sure. Yeah, so you're halfway back to the door. You have all your fresh produce. Othgarurt, we move to you as Runefang bolts in his area. And
Sadly, this is no time for hunt.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to swim back?
Yes, I must dash swim back to the door very fast.
Yes. With your dash swim, you kind of, I imagine, using your lizard folk tail to like propel yourself a little bit. and you come splashing out, perfectly dry, it seems, as you emerge from this doorway, back onto the plane of Limbo. And you can see the red slot is like, oh. You can see he's maybe like coming to a little bit, but there's a very large syringe filled with blood that Clinton's pulled out of the sky. And yeah, Clinton looks at you and says, "Oh, great, what'd you get?"
I have
sweet.
kale.
Oh dear. I think I can work with that. Throw it in the pot. And you can just toss it in the pot if you want.
Very good.
Right. And he's gonna like look to all of you and says, Holly, you want to take this syringe while I get that? Just keep pulling till it's full.
All right.
He hands it to you, Holly. Now it's your turn. What would you like to do? You have a giant glass syringe filled with a horrible, like, almost boiling, viscous black-red blood. And the slot is like, oh, he's very dazed.
I'm so tempted to taste this right now, but I'm just put the syringe in a safe place.
Oh, he wanted you to keep extracting the blood.
Oh.
It was only like 3/4 full. Sorry, my bad.
I'm gonna pull it with my wizard strength.
Well, it's actually a medicine check.
Okay, I'm proficient, actually.
Hey! Wow! The medic!
Oh
right.
god.
So you're extracting the blood, and it's just, I don't like
Don't worry.
And he looks over.
It doesn't hurt.
It hurts a lot. Looks like it hurts a lot. Actually, he says, it hurts a lot!
It's okay, calm down. Shush.
So you now have a full syringe, and the slot looks like it's getting a little rowdy. Is there anything you want to do with your movement or a bonus action, Holly?
Gonna wink at it again.
just a friendly wink.
Yeah, friendly wink and a wave like, don't kill me.
Right, I'm gonna roll a wisdom check for the slot. Nah, oh, I'm sorry, which I rolled privately. Let me. All right, he got a 5, so he's just like, he doesn't quite get it. Oh, all right. So Holly, you got this huge syringe filled with blood. Oldman, what would you like to do?
Hey, Clint, do we need anything else, or can I finish this up?
Oh, I'm gonna need a bowl.
Fine.
So you walk over, open the door to the bowl area.
I really want to finish this. Fine, I'm just gonna. Here you go.
Oh, you just conjure a bowl. All right, yeah, the bowl appears, and oh, that works great. And he begins to pour stuff in. You can go ahead and roll your performance check to continue your painting. Oh, okay, pretty good. Did you include your +5 on that?
No, I did not.
Okay, so that's actually a 24. You've got a pretty masterful painting at this point.
Okay, I got the red, I got the blue, I got some tadpoles.
And the other blue's getting pretty close. All right, is there anything else you'd like to do? Or are you just gonna chill with that for now?
That took my action, so...
Alrighty. At the next, so the next thing that happens, Clinton makes a food. He kind of like takes out a little, not a wand, but a ladle, and kind of uses it like a wand and does some weird stuff. Throws some spices in the cauldron. A huge burst of like red fire shoots out. There's all sorts of craziness that goes on. He does a bunch of weird magic you don't understand. And then he kind of shakes his ladle. It turns into a pair of clasps, not clasps, but
salad tongs.
Yeah, tongs, exactly. And he takes out some delicious looking. It looks pretty good, Othgarurt. And he ladles it. Not ladles it, but he puts it into the little wooden bowl that you conjured. And he says, "Alrighty, first, great. I will say, Othgarurt, a lot of that kelp was seawater. Just so you know, not the most efficient, but it's fine for now." And he takes it, and he goes and gives it to the red slot. And the red slot looks at it and devours the entire thing just at once. And then looks down at it and looks up toward you all, kind of making eye contact, and it says,
6 out of 10.
and it walks away. Clinton's like, all right, that's pretty good. Good first one. 6 out of 10 is good for these guys. Ooh. All right. Well, that's one customer down. Got a blue coming up next. And the blue slot walks over, and this one's a little more put together than the red one, and it says,
Fish salad.
all right, fish salad, everyone. Let's get going. Runefang, it's your turn.
I'm still coming out with solid parts.
So at the beginning of your turn, actually, it's after your movement, you're now out. You got a whole bunch of salad. Well, actually, you got 4 pounds of salad, so pretty good. And what do you want to do with that?
Dump it in the pot.
All right, you just dump it right in the pot, and Clinton's like, great, excellent. Now we're gonna do some fish, if anyone can get that. Quicker, the better. Do you want to do anything else, Runefang? You've just used your movement so far.
Not at the moment.
Okay. And all of you can see in the distance, there's now a horrible gray-skinned creature pulling itself out of the tower, out of the obelisk rather. Except this is weird because it has like, it looks like glasses on, and you're a little confused, which really doesn't make sense. Othgarurt, what do you want to do? You're standing there.
Well, I guess it's time to go back into the water.
Okay. Yeah, you go back through the door. What do you want to do?
I saw schools of fish previously.
Yeah,
I
toward
should
the
try
kelp.
and I should swim that way again.
Okay. You want to just swim right back toward the kelp?
Yes.
Okay. Do you double move, or do you just kind of swim kind of slowly?
I'm being a little cautious.
Okay. So if you double move, you get about 10 feet away because you spent a little bit of time in Limbo. So we'll say you're about 10 feet away from the kelp at the moment. And yeah, you see this big dark shape in there, and you see this fish swimming around you. Ollie, what would you like to do as the blue slide gets up to the front? Oh yeah, Clinton stabbed another syringe into it.
Oh,
And-
great.
Yeah. He seems like he's handling that when he doesn't have to cook.
Okay, I'm gonna set the other one down
Okay, you just place
that
it.
I had him in
Where do you put it?
safely. I didn't mean to snort. That was weird. I'm gonna set it behind one of the doors.
Okay, that's a safe place. Cool.
And then I'm gonna walk up to the blue slab,
Okay.
all confidently, and
you're
I'm
like,
gonna
you're feeling this. You did it.
I'm gonna lean on the table and give it a nice wink and say, I've never seen seas as pretty as your blue. So I thought really hard, okay?
No, it's all good. It's good. I mean, this is Slot, so you can go ahead. Oh, is this a spell, or are you just being friendly?
Being friendly.
Okay.
I mean, I could do a little a presto snap if I wanted to, but
All right, can you roll me a persuasion check?
oh, god dang it.
You gotta roll something. Oh yeah, no. It looks at you like fish salad.
Okay. Right on that.
Alrighty. Is that the end of your turn, Holly, or do you want to like go into one of the places?
I'm gonna go into the bowl dimension.
Yeah, I think you walk in. There's bowls. All right.
I'm gonna grab a bowl and I'm gonna put it on my head.
All right. I'm gonna roll a d100. Okay. Yeah, you grab a bowl. It's a dusty wooden bowl.
Okay, I'm gonna walk back out with it because it's gonna be needed for the salad.
All right. You got a bowl. You did it. Oldman, what would you like to do?
Well, I mean, we got 2 bowls now.
The red
Somebody's-
Slaad, it seems like he's really enjoying licking the bowl.
Okay then. Well, we still have another bowl. I guess. Well, there's a gray slot now.
Just going back to drawing.
I mean,
Okay, sure.
that's what I see to be done.
Go ahead. A good day out for Oldman. Wow.
This is a
Nailing it.
wonderful day for me. This is like my dream. Just a bunch of creatures lining up for me for models. Oh, it's great.
Alrighty. God damn it. And now we move to the next in the initiative order, which is the gigantic crab. Which comes out from the seaweed. And it looks at you, Oldman. Not Oldman, Othgarurt, and kind of like cocks its weird, like, crab body, and then pinches its claws and goes and attacks you with one of its claws. Let me roll that so you can see it. And it goes, will a 17 hit you?
Yes.
All right, you are grappled by back by the crab, by the gigantic hulking crab. It's gonna attack you a second time, which it only gets an 11 that time. Does that get you?
No.
Okay, so the second claw isn't able to get you, but the first one grabs you and squeezes you around the middle, and it hurts pretty bad. 11 damage, pretty substantial.
The larger of the two hit.
And yeah, it's like, and it doesn't seem pretty happy. It doesn't seem happy with you, and you're not totally sure why. The next in the initiative are the little crabs. 3 little, like, normal-sized crabs kind of skitter over to your feet and attempt to pincer you. They get a 4, a 6, and a 4. So they all miss you. That's the end of the crab's turns. The top of the initiative. Clinton Slaughtermurder is extracting blood. Runefang, what would you like to do?
Well, Runefang is gonna go back over to the door to the greens dimension.
Well, you think you actually have plenty of greens right now. At least
Well,
for
he
one
still
more.
has-
Unless you want to get more for the third custom.
Gotta get more.
Alrighty. You go ahead and go in.
Yep.
Cool. Because you know your way there, I think you can, like, kind of finagle your way over using just your movement. Because you know exactly where to go now. You're not, like, looking around. So yeah, you walk right over. You see the little planter area filled with nice greenery. But you see, like, vines and things in there that you didn't see before. And there's a gigantic, like a huge cabbage in the middle. It's like 4 feet wide and similarly tall.
Mother always asks me why I hate cabbage.
Uh-huh.
Now I can tell her why.
Okay. You have your action still. Do you want to do anything?
Time to poke the giant cabbage.
Okay. Yeah, you go and you poke the giant cabbage. As you do so, the cabbage attacks you. As it has a readied action to attack anyone that gets close enough to it. It tries to bite you. What's your armor class, Runefang? Runefang?
Oh, 19.
Oh, wow. Well, it only gets a 12 as it opens up and tries to, like swallow you. So, you know this giant cabbage is your enemy. It's a giant enemy cabbage. Similarly,
Not
we have a giant
today.
enemy crab in the other one. Alrighty. Anything else you'd like to do?
Oh,
Okay. Okay, so you're still in there right now. You just haven't...
Yep.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I'm now battling a giant cabbage.
You're about to battle a giant cabbage indeed. We move to the next in the initiative order, which is Othgarurt. You're grabbed by a giant crab.
I must know. Are there any fish nearby me?
Mm-hmm. Whoops, that shouldn't be there. Yeah, there are definitely some fish nearby. They seem to actually be coming, like, toward you a lot more. Like, oh boy, the crab's got something. Food time.
Very good. I could ignore the crab for now. I have job to do.
Okay.
I shall take my bone javelin and attempt to spear some fish.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll. Now, you're not restrained by the crab. You're just grappled. But go ahead and make an attack. And are you raging or no?
I am not raging.
Okay. Holy shit. Yeah, go ahead and roll me your damage. That's a great roll. All right, 8 points. You spear, probably like, there's like a random marlin swimming around, and you spear it, and it's just, and you have a really heavy, actually it's only 8 pounds, but that's like, I don't know, you spear a marlin. You have a marlin now. But yeah, you have a marlin. Is there anything else that you'd like to do? Because you're currently still grappled.
I shall... I shall bite onto the crab.
Okay. Alrighty, 16 against the giant crab will not hit. Its shell is too tough to be pierced by simply your jaws, unfortunately. At least at this angle, yeah. And it wants to get you. All right, Holly, it goes to your turn. What would you like to do? You're still out there in the center. You noticed there's like stuff going on in both of the doors. Just kind of like maybe you hear the sounds of combat.
Oh, I'm not a good swimmer. I'm gonna go into the forest.
Okay, so you walk into the forest and you see the path that Runefang had gone, and you hear Runefang. And just like a quick walk, you see him, maybe like 15 feet away, battling a giant cabbage that's opened up like a huge spiky maw, trying to consume.
Hello, Mr. Plant. Fireball.
Oh, jeez! You will obliterate the cabbage and probably all the other greenery if you want to do that. But you can.
Yeah.
Alrighty, give me the fireball. I'm gonna roll for... What is this thing's dexterity? It's gotta be like a 2, right? It's actually really high. Apparently it's an incredibly quick cabbage. Still, it succeeds. It's gonna take half damage.
Should I roll a dex save as well? Since I'm also in the line of fire?
I'm gonna say that, like, Holly, if you want... No, I think Holly can easily guide this to hit, like, behind the cabbage instead of just at the cabbage. So I think you're fine.
Okay.
And even if Holly doesn't try to aim it like that, the subtle hand of Bartholomew guides the fireball to not murder.
Can I make the 14 a 20?
Wait, you want to make his 14 to 20?
No. Just kidding, I forgot.
Yeah.
Dang it. I was trying to bend the rules, come on.
I can't blame you. That's still a fair amount of damage to this creature.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's a half thing. Okay.
Well, yeah, but it does double damage with fire to the plant.
I'm still new to D&D.
It still takes the full 21.
It's all good. Yeah, so it's still going to take the full 20. Actually, it's only going to take 20 damage, but it doesn't matter. Still a pretty solid hit. It is now a flaming cabbage that's trying to eat you. Is there anything else you want to do, Holly? Any bonus action nonsense?
Wink.
The cabbage does not respond to your advances.
Dang it.
Unfortunately. But the cabbage does attempt once more to consume... Oh, interesting.
Remember, AC is 19.
Yep. So what happens here actually is your fireball hits it and it poof, kind of puffs, and some weird gases kind of come out of it, some spores. Runefang and you, Holly, both need to roll me a wisdom saving.
Oh.
Good thing I read all these abilities first. All right, Runefang, you resist it. This is an evil, fiery cabbage. Holly, you gotta run to this cabbage at your next turn. You have to get closer to this thing. It's just, you love it so much.
I love the cabbage.
Love the cabbage! The cabbage attempts to eat Runefang. It misses. Runefang, you're fine. The cabbage is not that threatening. Unfortunately, actually, no, we move to Oldman. Oldman, what would you like to do? Your turn?
Well, I have all of my drawings in a row.
Mm-hmm. They look beautiful.
Well, I guess, Othgarurt can use some help.
All right, so you head into the sea level.
I'm gonna dive into the water, and how far am I?
You get, 30. You can see him immediately as soon as you go in.
How far am I?
At the end of your turn, you'd be 30 feet if you swim right toward it.
Well, I will just, stay at the door.
Sure.
And tell him I got his back.
Okay, are you gonna cast any magic, or are you just chilling? Oh,
I'm gonna make a nice crab. Whatever you dropped, crab.
The daggers begin to spin around the crab.
Some crab pate, anyone?
Delicious crab pate. It takes 9 points of slashing damage. It still seems pretty tough, but, damage is damage. Actually, auto damage is busted, but anyway. So, that has happened. Do you want to move at all at the end of your turn, or are you chilling?
I'll just sit at the door.
Okay. The crab attempts to kill you again, Othgarurt, as it claws a second time.
Ow.
As it begins to crush the life out of you. How you feeling? Probably not great.
I am alive for now.
The little crabs attempt to bite you, the 3 of them. Oh! One of them gets you for 1 damage, I think. A little crab pinches your toe. It hurts.
That was my favorite toe.
Meanwhile, in the garden, the vines that had kind of grown in go to, attack. As a vine stretches out to attack probably you, Runefang, because you were the closest there. What's your armor class? 17 or 19? It's high.
19.
It attempts to constrict you, and the vines try and wrap around you, and you can feel they're thorny and poisonous, probably. But you're able to avoid it, as the vines do not get you. We go to the top of the initiative. The next enemy goes. The swarms of little fish go after you, Othgarurt, because you're bloodied in the water. They go to bite you. They got a 22, and that's... it's only 10 damage. It's the first one, not the second one.
That is still enough.
Oh no! Othgarurt kind of slumps unconscious in the water, blood pooling out. The fish that you speared just kind of floating at the end of your bone javelin. Alrighty, we go to the next in the initiative. That is Runefang. What would you like to do?
Well, time to carve me some giant cabbage.
Uh-huh.
23, 4, 5.
Alright, that's 5 more damage to cabbage. The cabbage is looking pretty bad at this point. Is there anything else you'd like to do, Runefang?
That is everything.
Alright, you also, with that attack, chopped off like a 5-pound chunk of cabbage. A fairly large piece of cabbage. Just so you're aware. Alright, Othgarurt. Gotta roll me a death saving throw, buddy.
Gurgle.
Gurgle indeed. You're alive. We'll see how long. As the fish kind of swarming around you are hungry. Holly? What would you like to do?
I run towards the cabbage.
Alright, you run toward the You don't know why you just ran toward that cabbage. But now you're next to a giant, flaming, toothy cabbage.
Am I aware of myself?
Yes, you are aware of yourself at the end of your movement. You see that there are evil, thorny vines that are trying to kill your pal, and presumably will try and kill you. What do you want to do? You still have your action.
Magic missile.
On which the vines?
Mr. Cabbage friend.
Awesome. Go ahead and give me your damage.
I'm gonna cast it at level 2.
Oh damn. Okay. All right, 14 points of damage. With that, you have slain the giant cabbage. The giant cabbage slumps into the garden, just blah, blah. And as it does, it kind of unfurls a little bit, and it looks like the insides of it have been perfectly cooked by your fireball.
Wow!
So that is just fresh for the taking, if anyone decides to grab it.
I'm gonna bite it.
It's delicious. For
Great.
cabbage. It's delicious for cabbage.
I love cabbage. I'm a person of the forest.
It would be the cabbage's turn after that, but the cabbage is dead. So we go to Oldman. Oldman, you see Othgarurt is not doing great. He's still grabbed by a giant crab and bleeding out.
Othgarurt, do you have a potion on you?
Gurgle, yes, gurgle.
You see the potions hanging from his belt.
Okay, how far is he?
He's 60 feet if you were hanging by the door.
Okay. Since we're underwater, if I use that doesn't have the spell card, but that has a
You're gonna say
range of
mage hand?
30 feet. Can I use that to push him towards me?
Ooh, you will damage him, but you could.
And okay, then sure.
Alrighty, the tidal wave rushes out, and that hits everything, right? It's a weird thing underwater. It's kind of like a vroom, vroom of force, but that's everything.
Well, I push him 30 feet towards me.
Okay, so it's one failed death save for Othgarurt. I'm gonna roll for the crab. It's a strike save or dexterity. The big crab does not get pushed. The little crabs are all dead, and the fish don't get pushed. So Othgarurt and his spear catch get pushed 30 feet toward you.
Then I'm going to swim 30 feet forward.
Okay, you're up to Othgarurt.
Use my bonus action to feed him his potion.
Feeding someone else a potion's an action, unfortunately.
Oh, shoot.
But you're there. Are you cool with that?
I am going to put Othgarurt on the other side of me.
Ah, the hero. All right.
This is going to end badly.
The crab goes to swim toward you. He swims 30 feet up to you and goes after you, Oldman.
Holy
claw. Are you still up after that?
Barely.
All right, it's gonna try a second claw. 17.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna end badly.
All right, so you slump down, unfortunately joining Othgarurt in unconsciousness in the water. So that's the giant crab. The little crabs are all dead. You two are unconscious. The assassin vine is going to go after Holly now, since Holly, you're there. And it rolls a 26. Holy shit. Oh my god. Alright, so the way this is gonna work, it's the 21 points of bludgeoning damage. Ignore the 30, that's irrelevant there. So, you're grappled. Okay. So
How much damage?
it's 21. The extra poison damage begins at the end of the vine's turn if it still has you grappled. So you're not... You're grappled, and you took 21 damage. Are you still
Okay. Yes.
Okay, that's good for you. That's the end of the vine's turn. The fish are not coming near you. A big tidal wave just hit them. They're fucking off. They're dumb fish. Runefang, what would you like to do? Holly looks in a bad way.
Well, gonna grab my hand axe and try and cut the vines.
Okay. That'll hit. 7 slashing damage against the vines. This is the first time the vines have been hit. Actually, they should have been hit by the fireball. So they would have felt that fireball. So, all right, no, sorry, they're 28 damage now. They're a little hardier than the cabbage, but they're pretty hurt at this point after the hand axe. Is there anything else you'd like to do? You could grab some cabbage and run if you wanted.
Yeah, he's gonna grab the 5-pound chunk of cabbage he cut off and book it towards the door.
All right, the vine. Let's see. I'm gonna roll an intelligence check. If it rolls above a 10, it's going to continue to squeeze the life out of Holly instead of trying to opportunity attack. All right. So it does not try to opportunity attack you as you run. You just make it to the door with your hunk of delicious cabbage. Holly being squeezed. Othgarurt, can you roll me a death saving throw?
Gurgle, gurgle.
Gurgle, gurgle. Oh no! Othgarurt fades. A body in the ocean. Alrighty. Holly, you're currently being grappled by a vine. You feel slow-acting poison coursing through your veins. What do you want to do?
Can I Misty Step out of this?
I bet you can.
Alright, bye.
Peace! You just grab some cabbage that was left over and you're gone. You appear next to Runefang right by the door. Cool. You want to move out? You can just leave with your movement if you want.
Yeah, I'm out here.
All right, you exit through the door.
Thanks, Runefang, by the way.
You toss your cabbage in the cauldron, no problem. Looks like there are now like 6 or 7 Slaad lined up that just moved over in the time you've been away. But you see the cauldron's pretty full at this point. It only needs the one last thing left, which is some fish. And you can see through the other door, it's looking bad. It's looking not good. You see Oldman just kind of floating in the water with Othgarurt, and Othgarurt does not look very alive. I think you still have, because you misty stepped and you took like 5 feet of movement. So you still have most of your movement and an action left if you'd like to.
Can I see any like fish? Like through the water.
Yeah, Oldgart's spear with like a nice fish on it, like I said, a marlin.
An 8-pound marlin.
Yeah, there's also a huge. I'm sorry, there is not a huge crab. There's a hulking crab there too, right next to them.
Okay, I'm gonna cast levitate on the spear.
That'll make it go up.
But is the direction to the door up?
No, the direction of the door is not up. It's perpendicular. Actually,
can I cast? I'm gonna use Old Man's tactic. Tidal wave.
Oh god. Well, you can't do it this turn because the.
Okay, I will wait. But you know my plan.
You're ready. Excellent. The cabbage is dead. Oldman, can you roll me a death saving throw? Not doing much better than Othgarurt. The crab is, seeing it has defended its home, begins to like slowly walk back over to the seaweed. The assassin vine, how fast is it? It's not fast at all. It attempts to chase after you, Runefang, but doesn't get very far. The quippers probably are still back where they came from. They're not going any further. There's plenty of blood in the water from when Othgarurt first got wrecked. So Runefang, you walk out with your cabbage. It's your turn.
Runefang will close the door.
You close the door. Excellent. You see the vine like squirtling toward you, but you shut it. You throw the cabbage in, no problem. Anything else you want to do?
I'll move over to the other door.
Yeah, you and Holly are just kind of looking through the door. There's a huge crab walking around, and it looks like Othgart's dead, and Oldman is dying. You want to go ahead?
I'm going to prepare 2 of my 3 remaining health potions,
Okay.
so I can shove them down their throats.
Okay. All right. Holly, it's your move, Holly. It looks like the crab has already walked away.
All right, tidal wave.
You're gonna cast it anyway? Excellent.
Oh,
Okay.
I can go get him.
Yeah, you think you could just swim in and pull one of them out?
Okay.
Who do you want to grab?
Oldman.
Okay, you pull Oldman out. Oldman, or kind of lolling.
No, wait,
you know,
never mind. Put him back in the water. Tidal wave. I want the spear.
Oh, you grab. Well, I mean, the spear is just right there. You could just grab the spear
Okay.
instead of one of them.
Sorry, I just want to be an agent of chaos. Yeah, I want the spear and I want Oldman, if that's possible, please.
You roll me a strength check, DC 10.
Oh boy.
If you get it, I'll say you get both of them. Oh yeah, you drag Oldman and the spear back out. We move to Oldman. Can you roll me a death saving throw? All right, Oldman's not looking good at the end of that turn.
Well, he had a prepared action.
Oh, that's true. Runefang did have a ready action. I'm sorry. So, Runefang, you pop a potion down, and you're up. Oldman. So sorry, there's no death save. What would you like to do?
I'm going to moan Othgarurt and grab the spear and give it to Clint to say this better have been damn worth it.
You throw the spear into the pot. There's a massive blast of green fire, and suddenly, everything seems fine. Clinton goes over and begins to serve the Slaadi with expert efficiency, and the Slaadi all begin to just consume.
I'm going to go to the pot and take out the marlin bones.
And your overall rating is very good. Slaadi rated you a 10, a 7, and a 6. So you get pretty good ratings from the Slaadi. And with that, you have not quite completed this adventure, as Clinton looks to you all and says, Where's Othgarurt?
Dead.
I'll go get him.
Extremely
I'll
dead.
just put him back together. It's like that.
Can I tidal wave his body over?
That's awful. That's horrible, but yes. Othgarurt's body splashes out, and with a literal snap of Clinton's fingers, Othgarurt, you feel yourself put back together. As you open your eyes.
What?
Ooh, sorry about that. Old Clippy Claws get you?
This
Sorry.
is not Valhalla. This is not what I was promised.
No, this is closer to
Othgarurt,
hell.
here's your marlin that you got. Or at least the bones. I thought you might use them for something.
Thank you, my friend.
No, this is hell.
And in the background, the Slaadi consume and eat. And Clinton takes his syringes and packs them away. And, great job, everyone. That was spectacular. I've actually never had that successful a run here. Usually they attack after probably the second or third Slaadi. Let's get out of here before they finish.
Let me just finish a nice feasting portrait.
And Oldman at the last second jumping away with his painting. You have all completed this adventure. You've all earned
Oh
the
my
requisite
God.
200 Bartholomew bucks and points of experience. It was close. I was actually a bit concerned for a minute you were all going to die. But
Felt
you
like I
didn't.
was gonna die.
I also, when you split up, that's where I was like, oh dear. But
I had a suspicion, but I still wanted to dazzle.
I feel you. Great work, everyone. Good job.